The first laugh hits her before the door even closes behind her, a small, sharp sound that feels like a pebble thrown at glass. Layla Jackson stands on the marble floor of the most famous luxury dealership in the city, sunlight pooling around her like warm water. She wears a plain blue dress, a tote bag from the grocery store, and comfortable sneakers. She came alone. She came with a reason and a promise. Her younger sister's nursing school graduation is in 6 weeks, and Layla wants to surprise her with a car safe enough to carry night shift dreams and early morning hope. The sales manager sees her and smirks. He moves like a man who owns the place. Sharp suit, sharper smile. His name tag says Blake. But the way he looks at Layla says, "You don't belong." 2 associates whisper near a gleaming Bentley. A couple browsing a red sports car glance over and then glance away. Layla breathes in, slow and steady. She has met looks like this before. She knows how to walk past them without letting them stick to her skin. She stops at a midnight blue sedan, clean lines, gentle power, strong safety features posted on the spec card. "Good morning," she says, voice steady. "I'd like to test drive this model." Blake arrives with that smile, polite but cold. "Ma'am," he says, "our test drives are appointment only, and this model is reserved for serious buyers." The last 2 words land heavy on the floor. Everyone nearby hears them. "I am a serious buyer," Layla answers. She keeps her chin level. She does not argue about the word serious. She knows her reasons are serious enough to live on their own. Blake's eyes move from her neat braids to the grocery tote to the sneakers. "Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at our sister lot," he says. He points through the glass toward a used car placed down the street. Great deals, easier approvals. A few quiet laughs, one low whistle. Layla's heart stings, but she stands still. "I have a cashier's check," she says. "I can pay today." She lifts the tote slightly. She will not pull the envelope out on a showroom floor like a magician proving a trick. She already knows this is not about proof. Blake tilts his head. "That won't be necessary," he says. "This vehicle starts at $190,000. The number is a fence. His tone is the lock. I'll have someone show you to the exit. We're quite busy." A young associate named Mia looks uncomfortable. She steps closer. "I can help," she says softly. Blake cuts her off with a look. "I'll handle it," he says. Then he gestures as if opening a door that is already open. "This way." Layla stares at the blue sedan. She pictures her sister's smile, the key in her hand, the promise kept. She remembers her grandmother's advice, spoken in a small kitchen years ago. "When a door closes in your face, child, don't beg, don't bang, step back, look up. There is always another entrance." Layla nods once. "Thank you for your time," she says. The words are simple, but they carry a quiet weight. She turns and walks out. The doors hiss, the laughter fades. Outside, the sun is still warm, the city is still busy, the promise is still alive. She reaches for her phone. There is a number she can call. There is a person who knows her full name, her full story, and the size of her heart. His name is Isaiah. He is her husband. He is also the reason the same city that laughs at her will soon hold its breath. When he answers, his voice is calm. "How did it go?" Layla tells him everything, not with tears but with clear details, the lines of the car, the tone of the man, the sound of the laughter. Isaiah is quiet. When he speaks, it is not anger that fills his words, it is purpose, steady and heavy like a safe door closing. "I hear you," he says. "Thank you for walking away, Wills. Will you meet me at the house?" "I'll be there," she says. "Good," he answers. "Tomorrow morning, we teach a lesson the right way. With grace, with receipts." Layla hangs up and starts walking. Her steps are slow, but her spirit stands taller than when she walked in. She thinks about her sister again. She thinks about doors and about new entrances. She thinks about how kindness can be firm and how dignity can be louder than mockery. Across the showroom glass, Blake is already retelling the moment, making it smaller and meaner. He does not know the story has only just begun. He does not know that tomorrow a silver phantom will glide like a ghost to his front door, and the first thing that will enter the building is silence. The next morning breaks clean and bright. The city wakes to weekday rush, but on a quiet street lined with old trees, the Jackson home is calm. Inside, Layla stands at the dining table. She has lined up documents like stepping stones, bank statements, pre-approval letters, insurance quotes. and the cashier's check. On top sits a handwritten card for her sister. For every night you cared for strangers, it reads. May this carry you home safe. Isaiah enters. He is tall, steady, and gentle. He built their life brick by brick, not through noise but through patience. He wears a simple navy suit today, nothing flashy. He kisses Layla's forehead. You did everything right yesterday, he says. Today, we finish it. Layla hesitates. I don't want to humiliate anyone, she says. I only want respect. And that, Isaiah replies, is exactly why we will do it with kindness. He points to the card. We are not buying a trophy. We are buying a promise for your sister. Outside, a driver pulls the Rolls-Royce Phantom to the curb. The car is silver, quiet as snowfall. The driver, an older woman named Ruth, who has worked with the family for years, steps out and opens the rear door. She smiles at Layla like a proud aunt. Ready to go teach the city some manners, she teases gently. Layla smiles back. Ready to keep a promise. On the way, Isaiah calls their attorney not to threaten, but to ask for a clean record of last year's philanthropic purchases from the same brand's foundation gala. He also calls their family office to confirm that the dealership's parent company received the scholarship donation named in Layla's grandmother's honor. This is not revenge. This is a mirror. He wants to hold it up so people can see what they look like when they choose contempt. At the dealership, Blake stands with a new pair of clients when the Phantom rolls to a stop outside. The doorman looks up, startled by the silent luxury. Heads turn in the showroom. Phones start to rise like periscopes. The rear door opens. Layla steps out first in the same plain blue dress and sneakers. She holds her tote. She holds her posture. She holds her peace. Blake freezes, then plasters on a smile. He approaches fast. Welcome, Beth, he says, bright and breathless. How can we make your morning special? The words taste different now that money has appeared. His tone is honey poured over a knife. Layla looks at him calmly. Yesterday, she says, you showed me the exit. Today, I brought my husband. She steps aside. Isaiah steps out. He does not introduce himself with titles. He does not list assets. He simply stands next to his wife and nods. Good morning, he says to Blake, steady as a judge. We're here for the midnight blue sedan my wife chose. We will complete the purchase in her name. We will pay in full. We will also take a test drive now. A hush falls. The associate Mia appears from behind a column, eyes wide. She speaks up before Blake can answer. I can arrange the keys immediately, she says. Her voice carries a relief that sounds like courage waking up. Blake tries to recover control. Of course, he says. I apologize for any misunderstanding yesterday. The word misunderstanding flows. It's like a cheap parachute. It will not hold. Isaiah opens the tote and places the folder on the counter. The documents slide out like quiet thunder. No misunderstanding, he says. You made a choice. We are making ours, he turns to Layla. Would you like roses for your sister's bow? Layla smiles, her eyes bright. Yes, she says softly. Yellow, for hope. Mia returns with the keys, her hands a little shaky. Congratulations, she says to Layla. It is a beautiful car. Layla meets her eyes. Thank you for stepping forward, she says. I saw you try yesterday. The general manager, a woman named Ms. Alvarez, appears. She has the look of someone who understands both policy and people. She scans the scene, senses the temperature, and steps toward Layla first. Ms. Jackson, she says, choosing respect. I am very sorry for how you were treated. It was unacceptable. Please allow me to personally handle your delivery. Blake pales. Ms. Alvarez turns to him without raising her voice. My office, after this sale, she says. Not a threat, a promise. They complete the paperwork in a private lounge. No performance, no parade, just signatures and quiet conversation. Ms. Alvarez offers a complimentary extended warranty and driver safety course for Layla's sister. Consider it a small apology, she says, and a commitment to doing better. Layla's pen pauses. Doing better matters, she says. She signs. The car becomes hers. The promise becomes real. Before they leave, Isaiah places a slim envelope on the table, addressed to the dealership's charitable liaison. This is a matching donation for the nursing scholarships, he says, in the name of our grandmother, Ruth Jackson. Please ensure the next cohort includes applicants from our neighborhood clinic. He nods to Ruth at the door. She grins. Mia brings the keys on a velvet tray. Yellow roses sit gently on top. The showroom is silent except for a few murmurs that sound like people rethinking who they are at work. On the way out, Layla pauses by the exit where Blake blocked her. She doesn't glow it. She keeps her voice simple. Respect is free, she says, but when you refuse to give it, it becomes very expensive. Blake has no answer. Miss Alvarez does. Thank you for teaching us today, she says. Layla nods once. Isaiah opens the passenger door. The Phantom glides away, and the city exhales. The surprise reveal happens in the parking lot of the community clinic where Layla and her sister grew up volunteering. The midnight blue sedan sits under a banner that reads, "For the nights you never gave up." Friends, neighbors, and nurses gather. Phones rise, but the loudest thing is the joy. Layla's sister Naomi steps out of the clinic in her scrubs, eyes tired, smile automatic. The moment she sees the car, the smile falls away, replaced by a shock so pure it looks like light. "Lay," Naomi whispers. "What did you do?" Layla hands her the key. "What you deserved," she says. "What you earned." The yellow roses glow against the blue paint. Naomi touches the bow like it might lift and fly. Then she squeezes the key so tight it leaves a mark in her palm. "You believed in me," she says, voice breaking, "when even I was too tired to believe." People cheer. Ruth wipes her eyes. Isaiah stands a little back, letting the sisters have the center. He watches the neighborhood watch itself. He sees young kids in worn backpacks staring at a car they've only seen in commercials and whispers. He knows how important this is, not for the car, but for the memory it will plant. A memory that says, we can be respected here, by us and by others. While the celebration swells, a small moment blooms at the edge. Mia, the associate from the dealership, walks up quietly with a folder. Ms. Alvarez asked her to deliver the final copy of the warranty and the schedule for the safety course in person. "Congratulations," Mia says to Naomi. "I wanted to apologize for yesterday. I should have spoken louder." Naomi blinks. "You came all the way here to say that?" "Yes," Mia answers. "I was raised to fix things when I can." Layla smiles at her. "You did," she says. "Thank you," Mia nods. "We're retraining staff," she adds, "and Ms. Alvarez asked if you'd both share a few words at a team meeting later this month." Layla looks to Isaiah. He nods. "If it helps the next person be treated right the first time," Layla says, "we'll come." The neighborhood pastor arrives with lemonade and a story. "Your grandmother used to say the same thing," he laughs. "Teach with grace, teach with receipts." The crowd laughs with him. Some teenagers ask Naomi to rev the engine. She does. Then she turns to the youngest girl there, maybe 10 years old, and says, "Do you want to sit in the driver's seat?" The girl nods, climbs in, and for the first time in her life, holds a leather wheel that doesn't belong to a bus or someone else's dream. As the sun dips, Ruth pulls Isaiah aside. "Boss," she says with affection, "there's a man across the street filming. Looks like one of those talk show types." Isaiah glances over. A local streamer is narrating into his phone about kindness and consequences. The story is already growing legs. It will walk where it needs to walk. At home that night, Layla and Isaiah sit at the table again. The documents are gone, replaced by 2 cups of tea in a quiet house. "We did what we came to do," Layla says, "and we did not break anyone." Isaiah smiles. "We built," he says. Then his phone buzzes. It is Ms. Alvarez. She has an update. "I wanted you to hear it from me first," she says. "We suspended Blake pending a full review. We also found 2 similar complaints in the last month. We are adding a community advisory board," she pauses. "If you'd be willing to serve even for 1 quarter, I would be grateful." Layla looks at Isaiah. He nods again. "Yes," she says. 1 quarter, and I want to host the first training at the clinic." "Done," Ms. Alvarez replies. Relief breathes through the phone. "Thank you." After the call, Layla leans back. The house is still. The city outside hums. She pictures the 10-year-old girl in the driver's seat. "People will say today was about money," she says, "but it wasn't. It was about worth." Isaiah sets his hand over hers. "And the price of forgetting it." 2 weeks later, Layla stands at the front of the dealership's training room, not as a customer, not as a critic, but as a teacher. Behind her is a large poster that reads, "Every person is a person first." To her left sits Ms. Alvarez. To her right, a representative from the brand's corporate office joins via screen. In the audience are 25 staff members, from reception to finance. Mia sits in the front row, pen ready. Layla begins with a question. "What did you think when I walked in that day?" Silence. A few glances, she does not rush them. "It is difficult to say the quiet part out loud," she continues. "So I'll go first. When I walked in, I wondered whether I would be seen. I wondered whether my skin, my dress, my tote, would speak louder than my voice. I wondered if I would have to make a scene to be treated like a person. I did not want to do that. I wanted to buy a car for my sister." A man in finance raises his hand. "I thought you couldn't afford it," he says, "because of your outfit." He swallows. "It was wrong, and I am sorry." "Thank you," Layla says. "We can fix what we face." She shares a short video clip from the clinic. Naomi handing the keys to a patient who needed a ride home after discharge. "The things we buy carry our values into the world," she says. "You sell doors to better lives. Don't slam them in people's faces." Isaiah speaks next. He never says the word billionaire. He never mentions investments or holdings. He tells a story about their first year of marriage when their car broke down on a highway at night, how a stranger stopped, changed the tire, and refused. "Ed payment. He treated us like people," Isaiah says simply. "It cost him 30 minutes. It gave us the world." During the QA, Mia asks, "What should we do when a colleague is choosing contempt?" Layla answers, "Be the interruption. It might feel small. It is not." Ms. Alvarez adds a policy change. Any team member can escalate concerns directly to her, no permission needed. Corporate confirms the new training will be rolled out company-wide with Layla's video as the opening. The room feels different now, not perfect, but pointed in the right direction. After the session, Blake walks in. He has been on leave. He asked to attend the next training before HR concludes. People shift in their seats. Layla meets his eyes. He looks smaller, not in size, but in certainty. "Ms. Jackson," he says, "there is no excuse for how I treated you. I told myself I was protecting our brand. The truth is, I was protecting my bias. I am sorry." Layla holds the silence for a breath. "Thank you for saying it plain," she replies. "I hope you change for the customers who will walk in after me, not for me." Blake nods. "I have started volunteering at the community center," he says. "Not as a flex, almost as a confession. I should have known better already." "Knowing better is a road," Layla says, "not a cliff." She shakes his hand, not letting him skip accountability, not denying him a path. Across town that evening, Naomi drives her blue sedan to the hospital. A security guard who saw the clinic video taps the window. "Proud of you," he says. "Drive safe." Naomi smiles. "That's the point," she says. Later, she pulls into a dark lot to rest her eyes during a break. A young intern, new to the city, walks past, staring at the car. "I didn't know people like us could have cars like that," she whispers to herself. Naomi hears, opens the door, and answers, "We can have respect like that." A month later, a summer storm hits the city hard. Rain turns streets into silver ropes. At the clinic, power flickers. In the dealership's neighborhood, a transformer blow. Us in the dark showroom, the emergency lights glow. The staff move cars to higher ground in the underground garage. Mia calls Layla without thinking. "We have 2 customers stranded with kids," she says. "Can the clinic help?" "Bring them," Layla answers immediately. The clinic's generator hums, hot tea steams, a playroom fills with toys. The stranded families arrive soaked and shivering. Layla wraps them in blankets. Isaiah shows up with food from a nearby restaurant he owns. He never introduces himself as anything but Layla's husband. An hour later, Ms. Alvarez arrives with more staff, even Blake. They carry water, diapers, phone chargers. Nobody asks who can afford what. Nobody sorts worth by shoes or jackets. They just work. A grandmother in the corner recognizes Isaiah from a magazine cover she once saw at a barber shop. Her eyes widen. "Sir," she whispers, "why are you here?" He hands her a cup of tea. "Because the lights are off," he says simply, "and we all deserve to be warm." The grandmother nods. She will tell this story to every person in her building, not to worship wealth, but to praise decency. By morning, the storm fades. The families return to their lives. The The dealership opens late. The clinic closes the playroom and counts the toys. One is missing, a small yellow truck. Layla laughs. Good, she says. Let it go, build something somewhere else. Corporate calls Ms. Alvarez later that week. They heard about the storm shelter partnership from staff and from 100 grateful social media posts. Make it official, they say. Every store pairs with a neighborhood clinic. Ms. Alvarez emails Layla. Your grandmother started this, she writes. We are just catching up. That night, Layla places the missing toy truck on the dining table. She found it under a chair. Isaiah spins its wheels with one finger. The best returns, he says, are the ones you cannot measure, Layla smiles. Except you can, she replies, in people's faces. On a clear Sunday morning, Layla asks Naomi to meet her at the dealership. Naomi arrives to find the showroom doors open and a small crowd inside. Staff, neighbors, a few clinic patients. There is a banner above the midnight blue sedan. Community Test Drive Day. Ms. Alvarez steps up to the mic. Today, she says, the first test drives go to people who have never been offered one. No credit checks, no questions, just a safe loop with a trained pro and a good conversation about dreams. Mia hands keys to an elderly custodian who cleans night offices. He laughs like a boy. A school teacher follows, a bus driver next, a barista who always brings extra napkins for tired nurses. Blake stands at the snack table, refilling cups, making room, learning. He does not try to lead, he tries to be useful. Toward the end of the event, Miss Alvarez invites Layla to speak. Layla pauses by the sedan where her hurt first began. She places both hands on the hood like she's grounding herself. Then she looks up at the faces in front of her. I was sent to the exit, she says, and I went home and found a different entrance. But hear me clearly. No one should have to arrive with proof to be treated with respect. Respect should be the default. Bias is lazy. Dignity is work. Do the work. Applause, not loud but full. Isaiah joins her and says, we came back the next day not to crush anyone, but to correct the story because stories change systems and systems shape lives. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out 2 small envelopes. One for the staff education fund, he says, handing it to Ms. Alvarez, and one for the clinic's patient rides program. He hands the second to Naomi. So nobody misses care because they can't get there. Naomi opens hers and gasps. This will run the program for a year, she whispers. Tears sparkle on her lashes. She looks at her sister. You turned their no into a lot of yes. Layla shakes her head gently. We turned it, she says, all of us. She gestures to Mia, to Ms. Alvarez, to the neighbors and the families who sheltered in the storm, to Blake sweeping up crumbs without being asked. This is how you win, together, without spite, with standards. As people begin to leave, a young boy tugs at Layla's sleeve. Miss, he says shyly, my mom says one day I'll buy her a car, but we don't have that kind of money. Layla crouches to meet his eyes. Buy her respect every day, she says. Say please and thank you. Work hard, help neighbors, open doors. The money might come later, but the respect can start now. The boy nods like he just got handed a map. Outside, the Rolls-Royce Phantom waits, not as a flex, but as a ride home. Isaiah opens the door for Layla. She turns back for one last look. The showroom floor seems brighter, not because of the lights, but because of what changed in the people who work there. They drive away slow, past the bus stop where Naomi once waited with wet shoes and a heavy backpack, past the park where kids look up when nice cars roll by, past the clinic where the playroom still smells like crayons and courage. Layla threads her fingers through Isaiah's. We didn't burn a bridge, she says. We built a better one. Isaiah squeezes her hand, and we left it open. Back home, Layla writes a note and tapes it inside the kitchen cabinet where she will see it every morning. It reads, when a door closes, look for another entrance. If there is none, build one. Make room for others. She closes the cabinet softly. The house is quiet. The city hums with a little more care than before. The next day, a postcard arrives from the dealership's parent company. It is not flashy. It is not forced. It says, thank you for your leadership. On the back is a photograph of 20 stores holding their first community clinic training. Layla smiles and pins it beside her grandmother's recipe card. Ruth's handwriting curls across the yellowing paper. Teach with grace. Teach with receipts. Layla laughs through a breath. We did, Grandma, she whispers. We did. And somewhere across town, a 10-year-old girl sits in the driver's seat of possibility again. Not in a luxury car, but in a classroom. She grips a pencil, looks at the road of her own life, and presses forward.